Hey there, I'm Nige. Welcome to Pure Coys, and today we have a new show called Beyond the Lane. Give you a bit of meat on the bone. Basically, I did a show with Dan from the Spurs Danalist last Thursday night on his channel, and we had an absolute blast, had a real laugh, really enjoyed it. And we decided just because we're small channels starting out, that maybe we could help each other out. And we started our own show called Beyond the Lane. So without further ado, all right, Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, Nige. Yeah, how you been? How's your day today?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Not too much work, which was good. Kind of trying to prep for this, but I'm much more of a just go into it and see what happens kind of guy. So yeah, it could be interesting. How about you? How was your day?
Yeah, usual busy day, working, juggling responsibilities. But yeah, hello everybody. Good evening. Um, just want to say a big thank you for all those who subscribed and given their comments over the last week or so. It's been great. Great interacting with you all. So yeah, please keep it coming.
Yeah, and before we start, please go over to Dan's channel on YouTube, the Spurs Dan List, and go over to his TikTok as well because he is like the best TikToker I see.
Cheers,
He's
bud.
his videos are awesome. They're like it's so much. My videos are so boring and just like me sat there like that going, "Hi, listen." Yours is just like so much going on. It's like, oh my god, I got to watch this. So yeah,
Thank you,
I've
Nige.
got need to take some lessons off you there, mate.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's not that, it doesn't take that long to do it. I mean, you've got to learn a little bit, but once you've done a few of them, yeah, you get in the swing of it. They're quite fun. I find them quite fun to do, and
Yeah,
I enjoy them. Yeah.
yeah. Hey Bobby, how's it going, mate? Um, again, before we start properly, I will also put a shout out to Perchy. Thank you, man, for doing all my thumbnails and my backgrounds. I know I annoy the hell out of you by constantly asking you for thumbnails and backgrounds, but you always come up trumps and you always do a great job. So cheers, buddy. But let's get into this. So I suppose we have to start with the game we've just had, the Arsenal game. What did you make of it? Any positives?
Positives of the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's an interesting way to start. Nigel caught me there.
Well, we've had
Positives.
so many,
I
there's,
didn't have
there's
anything
it's
prepared for positives. Okay, let's do it. There are some positives, but
I
I
was
guess
trying to
it
think of
gets
some
all
positives.
overlooked, doesn't it? It gets
Well,
all
it's been done
overlooked.
to death, isn't it? The Arsenal
Yeah.
game, but I'm trying to just maybe there
It's an
might be some
interesting
positives from it.
way to start to talk about the game. Yeah, the positives. Okay, look, Arsenal, they came, they had a game plan, didn't they? Just to sit back and try and catch us out on the counter or get a set piece. They didn't really come to play football. Again, possession possession stats were good, but again, I don't really want to talk too much about stats because they're not really helping us at the moment. But I mean, yeah, we kept the ball well. I mean, we were better in the first half. I thought. I felt we created some really good opportunities, and we were just a bit unlucky. I thought. If you can remember, there was the doggy chance when he was in the box, and you're thinking, just shoot, just let it in, let it go, and then he squared it across the box. You remember that one, Nigel? It was I don't know
He's
why he didn't shoot.
yeah, I think it was given offside in the end, wasn't it? But he's literally got no right foot. He's the most one-footed player I've ever seen. And don't get me wrong, he's a good youngster, but he's so one-footed, it frustrates the hell out of me. Um, yeah, I regret asking you about positives because there literally were none, really, were there?
No,
Um,
but look, there were some, but look, we can finish them. If there was Solanke's header that was close. I mean, the general play, we were causing Arsenal some problems. They were giving the ball away. The press was working. It's just a thing. We just didn't take our chances in them moments. If we'd have got a couple of goals, it would have changed the complete dynamics of the match. And it went on, and we huffed and puffed, and Arsenal got back into it a little bit, but really didn't offer that much of a goal threat, I thought, in the first half. So you're looking at positives is again just keep good possession, closing down. They were working hard, the players. It was just a lack of quality in the final third, which we'll come on to.
yeah, I really think we just run out of steam, didn't we? It's one of those games where we huffed and puffed, like you say. And I think we realised going into the second half, maybe 60 minutes, it's like we could be here all day. We're not scoring. And I kind of feel like we're a team that's allegedly an attacking side, and I feel that we're an attacking team. I don't know if this makes sense. That we're an attacking team that doesn't really attack. So we've got all the ball in their half, but we don't really do anything with it. There's a lot of side to side passing, a lot of probing, and I get that players that teams low block against us, but we have no way of slipping it through the sides because it's so congested in the middle. So our only option is to go out wide, and our wingers are so poor at crossing the ball. And when they do put a good cross in, there's nobody in the box anyway. I just feel we're so easy to play against, and I think for the possession, for the attacking, we don't actually do a lot with it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a problem, and I think it was highlighted a lot in more than in this game compared to the last game against Newcastle and Leicester. I mean, our attack, especially in that second half, they just run out of ideas. I mean, I know Arsenal, they were defending very well. They were very organised. And I felt the longer the game went on, the stronger Arsenal got defensively. And we just didn't get a sniff. It was just maybe, the crossing, like you said, Nigel, it was just aimless crosses into the box. Um, no, it was just no plan around that attack. And I mean, I did see something after a bit of a tactical bit from what Arteta had set the team up. They really closed off those lanes. We're so known for those balls across the box, and then someone gets
Yeah,
in at the end on the left or the right. They played a
yeah,
tactic where they completely shut that down. So we couldn't even do that. And it was just poor balls in the box. Son, he couldn't get into the game. Madison, he was struggling, and it just looked really bad from an attacking sense. It just looked like we didn't have a clue. I'm sure there's more to it than just simple we didn't have a clue, but Arsenal just so strong in their defensive duties, and in the end, when Arsenal got that goal, I just didn't see us scoring. Just when it gets that way, we just think it's not going to happen this day.
no, and I think Carl G's right. We don't scare teams, do we? In attack, we just, it's like you say, those crosses that come into the box. We have the same kind of cross every time, and Arsenal, like you say, they put players in the way to stop those crosses coming in. But this is was the frustrating thing for me. There's a couple of times Johnson would get down the line and he just put a low ball in. It's just like if you look up, you can see that that's blocked off. Dink it in, do something different. Why does everything have to be low into the box?
It was poor. It was poor quality deliveries. You're right. And when we're looking at the positive, I know we've kind of moved on from there, but I thought Solanke played quite well in the first half. I thought he was causing the centre backs a problem, winning free kicks, holding the ball off. But even him, he kind of, maybe it was fitness thing, he kind of just faded in that second half, and he just didn't get any quality balls in from anybody. And I was thinking about this, the midfield combination. I mean, we see Kulu burst through a few times, didn't he? Try to make something happen.
Yeah.
And there was just no intricate play around the penalty box. Like we see Manchester City week in, week out. They always find a way against low blocks, don't they? They give and go, they hold the width, take on a man, and they always seem to get many chances and good chances and normally put them away. So it was just very, very limp, wasn't it? The forward line, very limp. It was very
Yeah, we
disappointing and reflected the last two games. I mean, against Leicester and Newcastle, it was just a kind of not taking our chances. But again, in this game, we didn't have as many chances as we did against Newcastle and Leicester because the level of opposition was better.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. That's why stats can be, I think, misleading because I look at stats and I see that like Spurs had like 12, 13 shots.
Mm.
And I'm looking through it and I'm like, Kulu in the first half, keeper saved it. Johnson blazed one over. Solanke had a looping header. Second half, we had Van der Ven's flicked header. Um, then we had Kulu shot from outside the area late on. And I think Sarr had a P roller, didn't he, from
Yeah.
400 yards out. That's literally all we did. So I'm just wondering where 12, 13 shots come from. But It is what it is. I don't think we're not at the quality of Arsenal, and even with the players out, it was always going to be a difficult game. Arsenal set up brilliantly, I thought, played us to a T, and the frustrating thing for me is that we just got done by set piece. Um, it's a concern that that's started again. We've been pretty good this season so far with set pieces, but yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is leave Arsenal and concede to a set piece because, like you say, once they scored, we were never going to get back in the game, were we?
No, we weren't, and it really highlighted our transfer window, didn't it? When we talk about the wingers, um, one-on-one specialist that we needed, somebody who could take on a man, create something, assist, score. Um,
Yeah,
it really stood out a lot in that game, and you could say that the same to the two previous games we failed to win. It's just so frustrating that we just didn't get somebody ready made now, a top player like a Neto or somebody like that, an Eze. We really could have done with them in that match and the previous games, and they could have been a difference to unlock the goals that we needed when we were on top. Because if you do look at it, we have been on top in every game we've played in the last four, and it was just that lack of quality that we just didn't have, and we're not going to suddenly get any time soon either. I'm sure, obviously, we're not going to be coming up against Arsenal every week, so there will be games where we will eventually score, especially at home. But it's concerning. There's just a bit of a pattern going on at Spurs at the moment, and I mean, I feel like we're in decline. If you look how we started this season, you look back at the last 6 months of the previous season. Yeah, it is a big concern at the moment, and I look at it and I just think, I really don't know how Ange is going to sort this out.
yeah, it's a tough one, and I will get on to Ange. We are going to have to talk about the elephant in the room and talk about him later. But obviously, that game's done. Next game is a massive game. Coventry away in the cup. What are your thoughts? Do you think Ange is going to make wholesale changes? Is it a must-win game for you?
So I've sort of press conference today. There are going to be some changes. It does sound like some of the younger players are going to come in, the likes of Gray, Bergval, Wilson, and I think I heard Mikey Moore maybe as well. Saar as well. So it sounds like there's going to be quite a few changes. Basuma's definitely out. He's not going to be ready
Yeah.
for the game. He's going to be hopefully back at the weekend. So there's going to be changes, maybe 5 or 6. And I'm not too happy about that, Nige, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a risk. Um, Look, them young players, they should be enough to beat Coventry, but Coventry are going to be well up for it on Wednesday. You've got to remember last season when they played Manchester United, they took them so close. And they should have beaten Man United. So it's a game we can't take lightly. And then 4 or 5 changes he looks like he's going to make. I think also in the centre back, I heard Radu might be in as well, coming in maybe for Romero. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure, Nige. What do you think?
It's your typical banana skin, isn't it? Typical cut banana skin away. If we're at home, I don't think I'd have as much of an issue with changing 5 or 6. I just feel this is a game for me, we have to win. I know a lot of fans, you know, the League Cup is just a bit of a Mickey Mouse Cup, and they want a constant. For me, I just want a trophy. I want a trophy. I don't care which one it is. I want us to take all our cup games seriously. I said it before. I'd quite happily finish 10th or 11th and win a cup. I know he has to make changes because we can't just keep chucking the same players out every game. We've got a lot of games coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I'm quite happy for the likes of Bergval to come in. I like Bergval. I think he looks a decent player. Dragashin, that's fine. I think Romero needs to be dropped. I think he needs a good kick up the arse. I think he's more interested in Argentina than Spurs at the moment, which is a concern for me. And I'm quite happy to see Mikey Moore. I'm more than happy to see Mikey Moore in a league game as well. To be fair, I am like you. I think I'm at the point where I just want to see something fresh, and if that means bringing in Gray and Bergval and Moore and playing them, then great. I'm all for it. But what I don't want to see is Davis, Spence. Um,
Mm,
totally different midfielder, playing, I don't know, just playing someone totally, dropping Son. I think we need to play a strong team
yeah.
and maybe make maybe 4 changes.
Yeah,
I'd be
at
happy
the
with 4 if
most,
it
I would
goes.
say Nige, 4 at the most. I was thinking maybe
Yeah,
3, 2 or 3, but maybe
yeah,
4 at the most. And we are playing a championship side. You know, Archie Gray played in that division last year. He shouldn't really have a problem playing against that level of opposition. It's just a bit of a banana skin, Nige, as you said, and we must win this game. There's no option other than a win. I mean,
yeah.
if we lose it, can you imagine the fallout? It would just be hell, and I just don't want to go through that again, especially after the
No,
weekend. I
no,
couldn't
I
cope with it.
agree. I agree, and I agree with Liston as well. Says we have to rotate. Playing 3
Yeah.
games in 6 days isn't great for someone else. I totally agree. I would just prefer to rest the
Who
bigger
would you
players.
drop, Nige? Did you say who would you drop?
Romero, I
Romero.
think, but then I do worry about Van der Ven's hamstrings. Um, Romero, I would drop. Tough one. It's a tough one. Probably Kulu, just because I'd rather he was fit for the weekend.
Yeah.
So I would bring Bergvall in for Kulu. I play
Okay.
Bentancur because I think he needs to get as many games as he can before he gets banned.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and I would maybe no, that would be it. I would rest. I'd drop Romero, rest Romero,
Yeah.
um, rest. Who did I say in midfield?
So you said Bentancur
Kulu,
to play because he's going to be
Bentancur to
banned soon.
play, and
Yeah.
I would probably rest Johnson or drop Johnson, however you
Yeah.
want to say it, and play
For Wilson.
Odegaard. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my 3, and then I'd be looking to get the most out of Van der Ven. If we can play 50, 55 minutes and be a couple up, then we can
Yeah.
take Van der Ven off. And then maybe rest him for the Europa League game the following Thursday.
Yeah, because I think Nige, the ideal scenario would be to play as many first teamers as possible, get the game done in first half, two or three
Yeah,
up, and then we can start making changes after 60 minutes and freshen it up. And because the game is probably done then. So we do have to be cautious with the number of changes that we make. I think what you said there was that 4 in total. Johnson, Bentancur, Johnson out, Kulu out, Romero out, and who else was there?
3.
That was
I think that
3.
was it. So yeah, 3. If they want to, maybe bring Davis in for a doggy, fine, or Spence in for Porro, okay. But I would rather start as strong as we can, like you say, get the
Hmm.
game won by half time, and then you can make changes. I hate this. Let's make 10 changes, and then if we need to make subs, we will. I'd rather just win the game, get it done, get the players off. I know it doesn't
Yeah.
always work like that, but that would be my preference.
Yeah. So we're looking at Bergvall for Kulusevski. Yeah. Playing with Madison and
Yes.
Bentancur, Son on the left, Solanke up top, and Wilson on the right, with a defence of Doggy, Van der Ven, Radu, and then Porro or maybe Spence. Spence should be able to cope with that
Yeah.
game. I would have
You
thought
would
it's a
think so, wouldn't
championship
you? I mean,
game. Yeah.
he has to play, doesn't he? He has to play
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
he's
He
not going to
does.
play otherwise, is he? Because he's not in the European squad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying that Madison should be dropped. I think this is a perfect game for Madison. He's a
Yeah.
Coventry boy. He's a Coventry fan. Um, Perfect game for him.
Definitely. Yeah.
Show us what you got.
Yeah, get us some goals and assists, and to get run into a bit of form for the game at the weekend
Exactly.
against Brentford. So good shout. Definitely, I'll definitely stick with Madison in there, and as many of our better players as possible. We can't go out this cup. We have to win. Solanke, I just see a comment there from Matt. Solanke on the score sheet, definitely. He's got to
Yeah.
put it away. He's got to get off because he ain't scored yet, has he, for us?
No,
No, so we need to
no.
get away a good couple of goals for him, get his confidence up. And yeah, we just need to have a comfortable, stress-free victory. But Nige, knowing Spurs, We don't do comfortable.
It's never stress free with Spurs, is it? We could be 3-0 up in the last minute, and I'm still like, oh, if we concede one,
You
but
know it's not going to go plain sailing. You know something's going to
no.
happen.
But
And
I
it
have
could be
got like,
Nige. Sorry, go on. You finish,
go on.
Nige. Go on.
No, go on. That's all
Yeah,
right.
it could be that case of like how we've been playing all season. Plenty of the ball, plenty of the possession, getting it to the final third, and then it just falls flat. You just don't know. It could happen. It could happen even against Coventry.
It could, but it is the perfect game to score 3 or 4, like you say, get the confidence up, and then we go from there. But I have done a bit of I don't know if you can see that,
Yeah,
Coventry's form currently. So they played 5, they won 1, drew 2, lost 2. This is in the league. Obviously, they've won 2 League Cup games, but their form was pretty similar to ours, really.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and they're 14th in the league, pretty similar to us as well. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Nigel, I saw. I was just watching some highlights of Coventry earlier today, and I watched them play Oxford in a quite back and forth game. They won 3-2, and that's their only win in the league this season. And I just thought they looked like a team who kind of get it out wide, get it balls in the box. They got a big guy in the box, so they'll
Yeah,
look to do that. Either that's from the fullback or the wingers. They, they looked. Some of the play I saw was quite intricate. They were, wanting to play football. No, it's not going to be a walkover, this, Nige. It's not, and especially it being a cup game at Coventry. But they knocked out Wolves last season as well in the cup. They came close to beating Man United. So we've got to be cautious here. And even though their form doesn't look great in the Championship so far this season, again, you can't take it lightly, and we have to play this game like we'd be playing any other game that we do.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, form really doesn't matter at all, does it, for this game? It's on the day. It's a cup game. Coventry are going to be up for it. They're going to want the scalp of a Premier League side, and they've got previous with us, haven't they? The '87 Cup final.
Of
But I
course,
think I think it is on Sky, isn't it? The game. I think they're showing
I
all the
don't
League Cup
know
games, aren't they?
what
I
Sky
think it's
Sports.
like on the. I think it's on the red button or something. You can watch any game you want. It's either Sky Sports or it's BT Sports or whatever they call it now. It's one of them, but it definitely is live because I'm going to do a reaction video.
So do you record
Um,
the whole video, Nigel, when you're doing that?
yeah, I did it Saturday, and it's like I say, it was interesting. Took a fair bit of editing afterwards, but because a lot of it you don't realise when you're watching the game, you're literally just like that,
Yeah.
watching it, and then not, and it's like, oh, I got the computer, I better speak. But
What the
yeah, so there
commentary
was.
did you have on? How did that work? With like, because you're obviously filming in the commentary. What did you do
I
with that?
had I had the sound like quite low, but
Right.
I don't know whether when you do like stream on here and then come off and watch it and like have to edit it afterwards, you get the words come up, don't you?
Yeah.
And it was picking up a lot of the words from the TV. So I was like, I
Was
didn't
it?
say that. I didn't say that. Yeah. So yeah, I had to,
Ah. So I'm looking at
but
it
yeah,
here, and it's on Sky Sports. Sky Sports main event, 8 o'clock. There you go. We can all watch it without having to
nice
jump onto some dodgy stream, which is much better. So that's
and
good. That's good
highly
news.
highly illegal, and
Highly
don't do it.
illegal. Yeah, yeah. Don't recommend
Mm,
that. Yeah, you just
no.
mess up your computer or whatever.
Yes, indeed. But okay, let's talk about Ange because it is the elephant in the room, and I know the fans are so divided. There's a lot that want him out, and there's a lot that will love him forever. Um, where do you stand on Ange?
Where do I stand with Ange? Well, I think we need to start on Friday, Nigel, in the comments that you said in the press conference. He
Yeah,
said, if you can remember, that he felt that we were still in a title race at that stage. I mean, yes, of course we are because it's early, but obviously watching us play and not getting results so far, not beating Leicester, I just don't know why he would say that. It's just not a sensible comment, Nige. It's just not. And it's just a comment that winds up so many fans. It's great to be optimistic. It's great that he's positive and he thinks he can do it. But that I just it's such a strange things to say. Nige, do you remember the actual question he was asked to kind of come back with that answer?
I don't actually know, but no, he does come up with some strange comments, and I get that he's positive and he wants to be seen that he's a winner and that we are in a title race and we're going for. I get that, but just choose your wording properly. Just you've got to realise you're not manager of Celtic, you're manager
No.
of Tottenham Hotspur. We haven't won the league since 1961, and we're not going to win the league anytime soon. And that's not being negative. It's just being realistic. There are
It's the
so
truth.
many better teams than us. Yeah. Um, but we have every chance of winning the cup.
So why
And
didn't he
so
say
when
that,
I'm
Nige? Why isn't he saying, "Oh, look, this season the cups, this is what I'm looking at, getting into the top four." Just more realistic targets, saying sensible things, because it's just set so many people off. It just does not
yeah,
help. Already a bit of a slow start to the season, and obviously the transfer window as well, and we can come on to that in a bit later. But and the other thing he said, Nigel, was about the defending. And this came out, I think, a bit later. When they have the what do they call it? When they have a press conference, and then they have the stuff what comes out later in the evening. I don't know what it's called now, but
I know
some
what you
more
mean.
information comes out later on in the
Yeah,
evening, and we read up the next
yeah.
day. Something about the defending, that he's just not focused on the defending, and that he just wants us to outscore teams every game. And Nigel, I'm sorry, but it's just not realistic. You can't do that. We're not good enough. Just again, a very strange comment. A comment was going to wind people up, and I just felt I just thought, well, who is this guy? And what is he going on about, Nigel? I don't know how you felt.
Um, I said this on a short, and would you get the likes of Pep coming out saying this kind of thing if he was manager of, I don't know. It's not the kind of thing you say if you're manager of a team that hasn't won anything for 16, 17 years. I just find that he just says things for clicks. I think if he
Who,
had a
Ange?
YouTube
Ange is
channel,
saying this for
yeah,
clicks.
I think if he had a YouTube channel, he'd have 100,000 subscribers because he just says things that people want to hear. And for most Spurs fans now, it's getting to the point, it's just like, oh, just shut up, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
You just, it's getting to the point. It is, when he said these comments, I was a little bit embarrassed, almost like, oh, God, what have you said that for? Because what he doesn't realize, him saying those kind of things is only going to come back at the fans.
Yeah.
The rival fans are going to be, haha, your manager said this. Oh, and we just don't want to hear it. We know, as a fan, we know where we are as a club. We know we're not going to win the league. We know that we could make top four if we tactically were better, and we know that we could have a decent cup run. But we know we're not going to win the league, so don't say that we're in a title race because we're not, and we haven't been even before we played a game. We're not in a title race.
Yeah, Nigel, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? It's just he's acting like a clown. I mean, if you see the reaction from rival fans after the loss to Arsenal, they're all referring to his comments as well. So it's not just the Spurs
Yeah.
fans who are noticing it; it's other fans from other clubs, and it's just cringy, so cringy.
So what do you think of? I mean, can you see him getting sacked?
Well, after those comments on that, I think a lot of it came out on the Saturday morning. There were people doing shows on YouTube about it. It was just all went up in the air, didn't it? I mean, I think even myself, I got involved and said, "Look, he's he's carrying on like a Sunday League pub manager." I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? I just can't. It just winds me up. and I guess I'm wound up already from the frustrations of the Newcastle game, frustrations from the Liverpool Leicester game, the frustrations of the transfer window. When Ange knows that that transfer window is not good enough. It's Hold on one second, Nigel. One second.
Okay.
One sec.
What it is. That was interesting.
How embarrassing.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
Right.
the viewers. I thought I was on mute. And yeah,
Well,
I don't know. Mrs. coming in, jumping in front of me. It's just winding me up. Apologies, everybody. Nigel, you have to
welcome to
cut
be
that
on
bit
your
out.
own. I can't, mate. It's live. You know,
Oh
that's
my
that's why
God.
we should record.
Yeah, terrible. Sorry, Nigel. That was sorry.
That's right. Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, we're in the mid. We're in the
You got-
middle of the thing when I was talking about the comments and the show, what came out,
Hmm,
and just one second, Nigel. One second, Nigel. I'm just having some issues here, and I can't really concentrate.
that's right.
My partner is a complete wind-up merchant. Yeah, I have
Okay.
to say on this because like such a wind-up merchant, and she really gets to me. And like, oh my God, I'm trying to concentrate talking on YouTube, and she's like there jumping, and it's just putting me off. And yeah, she's gone now. Please, Hope, just leave me alone. Oh, anyway, I've lost my trail of thought, Nigel. She's done me in, man. So annoying.
So, so basically,
Oh.
we were saying, do you think Ange can adapt? Do you think he can adapt? Do you think he can change his tactics? Do you think he's going to change his tactics, or is it going to be he's just going to play his way and he's going to die by playing that way? He's literally going to die on a sword playing the way he plays.
Well, we've been watching it now for we've seen what he's been doing for the season. Last year, we see that he doesn't change. He doesn't change his style. He sticks to the same routine. Now, it clearly to me, it's not going to work in every match. There's certain games where we need to um, we need to change up tactically. It's not working. Drop 10 yards a bit. The high line is a bit dangerous. Um, I just think he's just so inflexible tactically, and he needs to do different things in games. He needs to mix it up a bit. But again, I mean, I admire that he wants to stick to the same system, but we just don't have the quality of players to keep playing that way. For example, if we had Neto, if we had Neto on the left, if we had Eze in the middle, linking up with Madison or somebody else, then we would be might be able to get away with it a bit more. But we can't. We just don't have it, and it's just so worrying, Nige, that we're every game is going on, we're seeing the same faults as last season, and it doesn't look like he's going to change anytime soon. Um, and it's just really frustrating me, Nige. And I think if he does not change this, he's going to end up losing his job because I just don't see how we're improving. We're just not improving. We're declining, and the results evidence it, Nige, don't they? Last season, this season, the lack of that quality up front that we need, variety in play, tactical flexibility. Didn't sign a defensive midfielder, which I felt what we really needed to protect the high line more. Drop back 10 yards. Nigel, you said this last week, the words that you would like to give to Ange. Remember when I asked you that question? Just drop back 10 yards, and
Yeah.
it would help us out so much. So I, I just think I just really worried, Nigel. And I'm sorry I'm going on a bit here, but I just don't know what we can achieve. My expectations have kind of dropped a bit. We'll come on to that a bit in a moment. Just what
Yeah.
I said there, Nigel. Is there anything that you wanted to say?
Um, Not really. I think you've nailed it all for me. I don't think he's going to change the way he plays. I think, but what I do think is, you said that he's not got the quality to play the way he wants to play. but he's come out and said all the players that have come in are his players. So he's got no excuses now. The frustration for me is that we've gone out and spent 40 million on Archie Gray, um, 15, 20 million on Bergval. We've spent 30 million on Odebear. And okay, Odebear's got some minutes, but I think that's more to do with the fact that we had players injured at the time. We haven't seen anything from Gray at all. I mean, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes against Leicester? Um, Otherwise, nothing. Bergval, a couple of minutes here and now, but nothing. These are players that we were told that we didn't need to sign another midfielder because we had the quality with these two guys. And I get that they're kids, but we've made these signings and they're not getting a look in. And they will probably play some part tomorrow. But is this what we're going to be seeing? League Cup games for them, Europa League games. For me, we spend that much money. I want to see players starting. I don't know what you think.
I mean, it's a great point, Nigel, because you brought in. They spent the money like 40 million on Gray, and said they're going to play a part, him and Bergval, and we just haven't seen enough of them. Like the game on Sunday, he chose to put on Sarr on. He took off Bentancur, put Sarr on. Could have put Gray
Yeah,
on. Maybe it was been a bit of a risk in that game. Maybe it was a bit unfair. But then you look at the change with Werner. He changed Werner and he put Werner on for who did he take off? Was it Johnson for
Madison,
Werner? Madison, yeah.
Madison.
Why
Yeah,
aren't you taking off?
crazy.
If you're taking off Madison, surely you put on Bergval. That just
Well,
didn't add up
exactly.
for me. Werner Werner is no good against the low block. We don't rate him anyway, but he's only good at when there's space because he's got some pace and he might be able to get that ball out wide. Total poor substitutions, Nigel, and I think that's another thing to add to that poor management of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, for me, Madison was the only one on the pitch actually looking like he was trying at least to open Arsenal up. But if you're going to take him off, and I said it when I was watching the game, you've taken Madison off, you brought Werner on. Okay, weird, but that's fine. So where are you playing Sonny now? Because Werner's gone on to the left. You've still got Solanke up front, and you've got Odebear now out wide right. So you're playing Sonny in a 10? Well, that's not his position. You're just like now you're shoehorning people into positions just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's I'm
No
starting to
plan,
think that
Nigel, is
he's
there? There's no
no,
plan there. Just throw them all on,
no.
as many attackers as possible, and hope for. And it's just not good. It's not good. It's not good tactically. It it just completely. And if you saw Nigel, we got worse, didn't we? As an attacking team, even worse, and we were already that bad.
We did. And yeah, and apparently the South Stand were not happy when Werner was brought on for Madison. There was a lot of chat about what the hell are you doing and that kind of thing. I think sadly I think the fans are starting to turn. I don't think he's going to get sacked yet. I think he's lucky in the fact that he has a chance against Coventry to put it right. And then we have Brentford at home, which won't be an easy game, by the way, but it's a good chance to get a win. And then we're at home to Karabakh in Europa League on the Thursday.
We get the
So he has
fixtures up,
three
yeah.
winnable games out. My concern is, though, the next three league games: Brentford, Man United away, Brighton away. I honestly think I honestly think it's a realistic chance that we could be one win in seven. I do think we get Summit against Brentford, but
I,
United away and Brighton away, two really tough games. We could have one win in seven.
look, Nigel, I wanted to talk to you about this. I didn't know
Yeah,
when we were going to do that, but we can do that now, and then we can maybe go back to the Brentford game after, specifically
yeah,
looking at that game. Now, so you're running over the fixtures. Coventry, yeah, we should be winning that game. Brentford at home again. I mean, it will be tricky because they're going to set up with a low block and catch us with their pace up front. Um,
yeah,
then I look at after that we have on the 26th of September about Carrier Bag again. Nige, confident of winning that one? If we
We
can't beat
can't win
them,
that.
then you might as well
We
just
might as well give up.
yeah, you might as well give
Yeah.
up. And then Man United away. Now, this game particularly. Now, do you think that Man United, when we go to them, they're going to sit back in a low block?
Um, no, I don't actually. I don't. Wow. Saying that, United kind of play that way anyway, don't they? They're not the most expansive team anymore. Um, but our record at Old Trafford is horrific. You know,
Yeah.
I don't care what United team are out. We're still going to find it really difficult. I think they might play a lowish block, but again, they have the players to catch us on the break. You know, Rashford and Garnacho, they've got pace. And if we're playing a high line at Old Trafford, there's a good chance we get caught. Don't get me wrong, United are not the side they used to be. They really aren't. And we've got an excellent chance of getting something there if we play well.
So,
But I do think,
Nigel, that's why I'm saying that, and that I'm
yeah,
pointing out that game because, on the face of it, you look at that run of games, some of those Premier League games, and you think, God, we're not getting any points. But um, um, I think Man United is a game that, even though how bad our attacking play is, I think there'll be space. There's going to be more space, and it might suit us more. Not saying we're going to definitely win, Nige, but I just think we've got a bit more of
yeah,
a chance of winning in that game than a team that plays in a low block, who defend deep. Um, and again, the same with Brighton, Nige. The weekend after that, on the end of the month, the 29th of September. No, not the 29th. Sorry, the 6th of October. After we've got another
yeah,
European game in midweek, going away to a Hungarian team, and then we got Brighton. I I mean Brighton, Man United, they played recently, didn't they? And I think Brighton nicked it, didn't they, right at the end?
they
So
did. Yeah,
both teams are quite similar. Brighton are definitely not going to play a low block. They're going to just
they're
they're going to
not.
play similar to us. So again, it's a game which could go either way, and it might help us, our poor kind of attacking play. So you just hope Solanke kind of gets you the goals that you need. And also, again, Nige, Solanke at Old Trafford last season, he grabbed a couple of goals. So, we could do it again.
They did. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the more you talk about it, the more confident I'm getting. But I'm just going by like last season, and obviously our record at Old Trafford not being
Yeah.
great anyway. And Brighton give us a bit of a pasting last year at Brighton. I just think,
Yeah.
we have done well at Brighton over the last few years, apart from
Mm.
last season, but then
Yeah.
we've had Harry Kane. So, I just think Brighton are a very good side at home. I think it's going to be a really tough game. And, you know, yes,
Don't
absolutely.
get
As
me
much as,
wrong, Nige. I don't think we're favourites. I mean, I'm
no,
only
and
kind of talking in like we have a better chance because we're playing a team which are not going to just sit back and defend the box. They're going to try and take the game to us and score. So, yeah, I just think that yes, we're all down in the dumps at the moment, and yes, we've got all these concerns about Ange and the style of play and the lack of signings and the quality of signings. When you kind of delve into the fixtures coming up, we could win. There is a chance. It's definitely not ruled out. Again, I wouldn't want to say we're favourites in those two away games, but if Ange wants to save his job, if these players want to prove us wrong, and Ange wants to prove us wrong, then that they need to turn up. They need to get us the results because, as you said, if you look at the league, we're near the bottom now, and if we don't beat Brentford and struggle with that and get a draw, and Brentford have a game of their life and get a draw, or even if they nick it, it could happen. We've seen it before. Brentford got a win against us a couple of seasons ago. So
yeah,
it's just so intriguing to see. The pressure is on Ange. The pressure is on this team. Everybody's not everybody, but a lot of Spurs fans are writing them off. Rival fans from the bigger teams, they're writing it. They're writing us off. They don't think we're going to do anything this season. Did you watch the Big Six, Nige, the other night? It came out
I
yesterday.
didn't. No,
No, it was
no.
a good
What's
watch. A bit uncomfortable for poor Tobes, but some of the people, the Man City fans and Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, they just see Spurs as they're just not scary. we're not scary. Everybody's seeing it. They're laughing at Ange. They just think he's a bit of a joke. No
This is
one's
what,
taking us seriously, and it's just
and that's
embarrassing.
why I'm frustrated. Yeah, that's why I'm frustrated at the moment because I feel like we are a bit of a laughing stock. I feel that other fans um like us because they're guaranteed to see goals. I don't think they like watching Spurs because we play wonderful football and we're beautiful to watch and we got great players. I think they watch us because they know we might score a couple, but we're also going to concede a couple as well. Um, and that's why you get all the press and Sky. They love watching Spurs at the moment. Gary Neville says it. He loves watching Tottenham, but that's because we're so open and because you just never know what's going to happen. It is literally like watching the Aussie Ideali's football, which was fantastic when we won, but when you lose, it is what it is. Like you say, you know, the next 6 games are really interesting because you're absolutely right. We could go on a run now. We could win 5 of them. I'm expecting us to beat Coventry. I'm expecting us to win both our Europa League games. I'm expecting us to beat Brentford. So there's 4 wins. And then, like you say, we go to United, who are not the United of old, who will play more attacking football, who will be open. Who knows? And then again, Brighton, they are an attacking side, so they will play attacking football. You just
Did you
never
see
know.
the comment
But
by Liston in the chat about Man United at the moment? They're
which
5-0 up after 72
yeah,
minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
I know it's Barnsley
What they're doing a job of United at home or are they away? I think
at
they're at
home.
home, aren't
Must be at home, yeah.
they? Yeah. I agree. So
Yep.
next on the agenda, what should we talk about next?
Um, should we go back to the Brentford game, or do you think we've
Let's go
finished that
back to
one?
the Brentford game. Yeah, let's go back to the Brentford game. I have got something to show here if I can
Be
get it
good to have
up.
a look at their form, where they are at the moment. I mean, I know they've had a couple of tough games.
Yeah, I mean I've got our recent record against them. If you look at the way we played, total matches 7, we've won 3, we've drawn 3 and lost 1. So we got a pretty good record against them. And at home we won 3, lost 1. Like you say, a couple of seasons ago we lost 3-2, was it?
Yeah.
But and away we've drew all 3 games. But you got to fancy us at home. Visser is apparently out for a month, isn't he?
Is he? Is he
So
the one who
yeah,
scored at
so
the weekend against City?
was it him or Mbuemo? I don't
I
know
think
which
it was
one.
Wizard. He got
But
a goal in the first minute.
okay. Um, but yeah, he's one of their more dangerous attackers. So if he's out, it gives us more of a chance. I know Mbuemo's fit, but you've got to fancy us beating Brentford at home, haven't you?
Um, yeah, you do. I mean, what do you think of their manager, Thomas Frank?
I think he's really good. I would love him at Spurs. Can't see it
Yeah.
happening, but yeah, I'd take him in a heartbeat. If and when Ange leaves after winning us a title, I'd quite happily take Thomas Frank.
Yeah, you
I
really
think he's
rate
really
him.
good. Yeah. I mean, what he does with Brentford, who, let's face it, a couple of years ago were a championship side, not particularly great. What he's done with the Brentford side, I think is brilliant. I think he's a really good manager and tactically really good, sets his team up well. Yeah, I think he'd do really well at Spurs.
Um, yeah, I mean, looking at Brentford's results, they had so they lost to City at the weekend. Before that, they beat Southampton at home, which you would have thought they would, 3-1.
Yeah,
Then they won in the cup, the second round of the League Cup, 1-0. Then at away to Liverpool, they lost 2-0. And then they beat Crystal Palace 2-1 at home. So their form is not bad. They've won 2, lost 2, and the 2 games they lost, they probably expected to, weren't they? Going to City and Liverpool, but they've won
And
both of their home games.
they pushed City all the way, didn't they? I mean,
Did you see the
Haaland's
highlights?
Haaland. Yeah, they're really good, and they always tend to play well at City, don't they? And even the
Yeah.
Liverpool game, they played pretty well. So they are a dangerous side. There's no doubt about it. Brentford are a dangerous side, but we have to be looking at winning these games. We're at home. If we can't beat the likes of Brentford at home, then we really are in for a difficult season, I think. Um, it's a massive game. We need to get form back. We need to get a win tomorrow night, go through in the cup, and then take that confidence onto Brentford, hopefully beat them. And then, who knows? It could all turn around and suddenly Ange can be, the best manager in the league again, and we could be on the way to glorious trophies and just like everything coming our way. But what do you think? We'll see, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know, Nigel. I just don't know what's going to happen this season. The signs are not great at the moment, but the games are coming around thick and fast. Ange can turn it round. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Um, I mean, what do you think of all the kind of fallout from all the fans talking about Ange and Ange out? Do you think that's fair?
Um, yes, I do. I have done a short myself. Again, it was not long after the Arsenal game, saying that I think I was Ange out now. Now we've had a couple more days to think about it. I'm still I'm very much at that point where if he was to be sacked tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. I don't really care either way. It's not He's not a manager that I think is gonna win us anything. Um, but at the same time, I think he should be given at least 10 games to see where we are. We are only 4 games in. I know that the end to the last season was horrific as well. And actually, if you look at all his stats, which I haven't got, I really should have got all his stats up. But he is one of the worst managers we've had in 20 years. So, stat wise, he's one of the worst. But as you know, I don't really go by stats. So, we will see. I want to give him 10 games. Let's see where he is after 10 games. And then we can judge. But I think if we get 10 games in and he's only won 2, I think he will be gone. What
Yeah,
do you think?
yeah, it'll probably happen naturally. I mean, he's not going to go now, so he's here, and we just have to see how it all plays out. And it's hope more than anything that it's going to go well for us. We just haven't done enough in the transfer window. Um, there was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, my expectations, and I know I said I'd come back to them, but at the beginning of the season, I just really thought we would have a good chance still in the Europa League to win that cup, and maybe try and win a domestic cup. But what I see right now, I just don't know. I'm not convinced because there are going to be some tricky teams in Europe. It's going to be savvy teams, some tactical teams, and if we're playing like this and this attacking setup is not working, then it will be found out. We'll get knocked out, maybe in the kind of knockout stages. If we play anyone half good in the cups, I just don't see us as a team, a threatening team. Again, it's all right having all the possession, um, but it's meaningless, isn't it? What was that team before Nige in the Premier League that used to have a lot of possession and they used to get praised so much, but they never really got anywhere with it? Was it Southampton or was it? It might have been even Brighton. A team. Yeah, I
Could have
think it
been
was
Brighton,
Brighton
yeah.
under Potter. Under
Mm,
Potter, they were
yeah.
fantastic to watch, but they just didn't have a striker, did they? And they
No.
would. fall short, and as long as the season went on and they got injuries, they just fell away every season under Potter. Um, so yeah, we're just a bit like that, aren't we? We're nice on the eye, just not ruthless enough. Too naive tactically, and I just don't think Angie's going to last. I'm hope I'm wrong. I don't want the guy to get the sack. Of course not, but it's not acceptable at the moment. The results, the performances, clueless, and the comments from Ange. I'm not happy. I'm not happy, Nige. I'm really not.
No, I totally get it. For me, I think actually we're playing okay. I don't think we are good enough in forward areas. I don't think we're quite good enough defensively. I think we switch off, but I can see shoots, but yeah, I can't see us doing anything meaningful this season. My expectations are the same as they always are. 40 years of supporting Spurs, and it does drag you down. You can't help who you support. It is what it is. You can't change your team.
No.
But I don't expect anything really. Um, I just want a trophy, and I would
Yeah.
love us to go deep in one of the cups. But also, our Europa League form is horrific. In recent years in the Europa League, we have been awful, awful away from home. So many times we played teams we would beat 20 times out of 21. And we go there and we put on a pathetic performance and we end up losing and going out of the group stage. So I really want that to improve this season. I'm going to be positive and I'm going to say Europa League. This is the trophy I want. I'd love a League Cup. I'd love an FA Cup, but we've got to get past the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal to do that, and Chelsea because we never beat Chelsea. So, but Europa League, why can't we win it?
Even with how we're playing now, Nige. Even with the kind of worrying form.
Um, I think form wise, and this is the thing for me. If you look at, and again, I don't want to go too much into stats. You look at performances; they actually haven't been horrific, but we just haven't been as creative as I'd like us to be. We've got in lots of good areas, and I think you said it at the start of the stream. Our pressing has been really good. We've nicked the ball in the top end of the pitch quite a few times, but our final ball, our decision making is terrible. If we can get that right, there's absolutely no reason why we can't go on a run in the Europa League or won the cups. Um, the quality of team we're playing in the Europa League, we should be able to take some of these chances we're creating. And yeah, I'm confident. I just want us to turn up. The one thing I was really disappointed about on Sunday against Arsenal, and the one thing every fan asks of a Spurs team or any team you support is just to leave everything on the pitch. And I don't think we did. I think we showed them too much respect. I think, there was a lot said about Porro and Raya having a cuddle before the game in the tunnel, and Madison afterwards cuddling Arteta. And it's
Yeah,
like, no,
I saw that.
you want
No,
to,
it's a
you're going to
derby.
war with these. It's a North London derby. We want to win this game.
Too friendly.
Don't do it after the game. Fine, do what you want and get in the bath together. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But before the game and when you're on that pitch, I think when I did my little watch along thing, the only time I got excited is when it kicked off. When we had that little ruckus, and it's like, oh, brilliant, this is it.
Yeah.
Thought it might just knock Spurs into life, but it didn't. If anything, it made us go the other way.
Yeah.
And that's a disappointing thing for me. But as I said, I'm talking too much. I think there's no reason why we can't go out and win the Europa League. I'm really that is the trophy that I want us to win this season.
Yeah.
So here's a
Yeah.
question for you.
Go on.
Matthew Stray says, who would come in to replace Ange if he did go? Who would be your man?
Alan Pardew. Joking. I was joking. I was joking.
was
Not
gonna
Alan
say,
Porter.
I was typing. I was like,
You
"Is he still
believe me then,
managed?"
Nigel? No,
I
no,
was
not him.
shocked. I'm like, "That's it."
Um, well, it's a difficult question, isn't it? There are managers out there who could do a lot better tactically. You know, the likes of Tuchel and Nagelsmann. I don't know where he's the German manager now. Um,
Yeah,
Tuchel. Who's the other guy? Potter. I think Potter could do okay. Maybe. You know, I think he could manage Spurs. There's nobody top who's going to come to Spurs. You just want somebody who's a bit more tactically savvy. You know, like somebody like Thomas Frank, who can set you up in a very organised way. Matt's laughing. I think that's a joke. Yeah.
that
You
sounds
just want
great.
somebody to come in and yeah, you just need someone. It just sounds so simple, Nigel. And I've just been thinking about this and chatting with other people on on social media that you just put the fullbacks playing as fullbacks. Use their strengths. You've got a doggy Porro who are good on the left and right. They're good at getting up the wing, crossing the balls, taking on their man. That's our strengths of the team. So that's the immediate
Yeah,
thing the manager does. You play Son as an inside left forward, so because he's not a winger anymore, and Son can't play up in his own anymore. So you need somebody else up there. There's Solanke. I would then bring in more on the right. I think he's definitely better than who else we got? Werner, definitely better than him. I mean, Wilson as well. You could kind of switch them up with more. Then you could play Kulu more centrally, coming in for Madison if he's unfit, or just switch it up. Then you've got two players in the middle, kind of Basuma, Bentancur, Sarr. You can put Bergvall there, Gray. You know, it's just. I know I'm just going off here, but it's just what I'm trying to say is you just get a manager who puts players in their positions they play at, and I'm sure we'll be doing a hell of a lot better. Madison in the 10,
yeah,
natural 10, we'd be doing a hell of a lot better. So when we think about if Ange does go and there's managers to come in, it won't take a lot for someone to get us straight, because I do really think that we have got a lot of good players at our club, and it just needs tweaking a lot, probably a bit more than tweaking, but just the system needs to change. It's just not working with this set of players, I'm afraid, Nige. Don't know what you think.
I kind of agree. I think Ben Kaufman said it perfectly. Is we want a manager now who isn't too defensive, but isn't too attacking. It's just normal, just a normal manager that
Yeah,
is tactically sound, knows how to set a team up. And like you say, I think if we played like the likes of Mikey Moore, if we played him out wide right, and even if he swapped with Odegaard, the fans are much more likely to be forgiving of a Mikey Moore making a mistake than a Brennan Johnson of making a mistake. He's one of our own, someone we can get behind. And I think we're at that point now where some of the fans are getting so disillusioned with the way things are going. Actually bringing in a few homegrown players, albeit youngsters.
yeah,
And listen, Mikey Moore apparently is superb, so let's give him a chance. I think it will just boost the whole club again.
definitely. It definitely would.
But yeah, we will see. I guess we are
Mm,
getting to the point where we are running out of things to talk about.
yeah,
What about Potter?
yeah. Possibility, isn't it? But we haven't got a lot of options, Nige. There's not a lot
There
of,
isn't.
and that's another thing. Do you just let Ange see out this season and just see what happens? And then it'll be if we don't get any success this year, or we just miss out, it'll just be the same questions asked. Was Ange backed in the summer? Why didn't Ange speak up? Are we just going Project Youth and we're going to win in another 3 or 4 years? Who knows? We don't hear too much about the club and really what they want to achieve. Ange is kind of left to be the main voice piece for the club, and he just keeps getting himself in lots of pickles, doesn't he, Nige? You just get, I don't think he's
Absolutely.
trained. This is the biggest. I know Celtic is a big club, but the spotlight is really on the Premier League,
Yeah.
And he needs a bit of help there from the media team at Tottenham. Someone needs to pull him aside and just say, "Come on, and he's Australian, and obviously Australians are always going to be outspoken, and they're passionate people. They just want to win,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
Yeah.
Ange does want to win, but he
I
needs
think,
a bit
yeah,
of help."
just needs a bit of PR help and just maybe needs to speak a little bit less and maybe not be so prickly when he gets asked those difficult questions because, it's his job to answer them.
Yeah,
And, I don't like the fact that sometimes he can be a little bit, when asked a pretty simple question, he just loses it. Don't like that. But it is what it is. I think we are done for the first
done. Yeah,
episode of
cheers.
Beyond
I
the
just
Lane.
want to say apology to my partner for my my verbal thing. Yeah, very sorry. It was a bad mistake from me, and I apologise. But yeah, been a great show, Nige. Really good. I think we covered a lot in an hour and 7 minutes. Well, I think we did really well, and I think it was a very balanced assessment on what's going on at Spurs right now. Nige, what do you think?
No, thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, it's a lot different when you're hosting a show and having to keep an eye on things, but it's an experience, my first one,
You
and
did
I
good.
enjoyed it. I will look forward to coming onto your channel next week and doing the same again. But before I go, please get over to Dan at the Spurs Danalist on YouTube and on
Thank you.
TikTok and subscribe to him. And while you're there, subscribe to me
Yeah,
also. And
big
I
up,
will
Nige,
leave
man.
you.
Big you up, man. You've done a great job tonight. Really, really enjoyed it, and it was nice to have a bit of a break. Well,
Thanks,
I did
buddy.
have a bit of a break until what happened earlier, but yeah, it was good.
Exactly.
Cheers, Nige.
And yeah,
Thanks a lot.
no worries. And I will leave you with this. Stay positive,
Yeah.
stay poised, and stay Spurs.
Cheers, guys. Good night.